In this lesson, we're looking at wages, salaries, and overtime. So a wage is based on the number of hours you work, and you can be paid overtime if you work beyond that. So the usual overtime we have is time and a half, which is 1.5 times normal rate, double time, which is 2 lots, double time and a half, and triple time. So these can be things like you work over the normal hours that you're supposed to work, or if you have to work in different conditions, you might be given a penalty rate or an overtime rate. We then have a salary, which is a fixed amount, and we get that yearly. So that is paid either weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. And that is, once you get into a permanent job, that is where we get our salaries most of the time. So some conversions that we need to know about is that a year is 12 months, which we should know. A fortnight is equal to 2 weeks. Now, this is where we get a little bit different. A year is 52.18 weeks for salary. And that's because if we take 365 days, but it's really a quarter day, that's how we get our leap year, and we divide it by 7, we get 52.18. So when we're talking about a salary and we're trying to determine weekly wage from that salary, we need to use that 52.18. However, a year when we're talking wage is 52 weeks, because if they get paid weekly, that means they get paid 52 times. The other thing we need to keep an eye on is that 1 month is not always equal to 4 weeks. So when we convert weeks and months, we need to make sure we put it into years and then work backwards from there. So if we look at this first example, Josie's a receptionist and works 38 hours at $17.45 per hour, plus 4 hours of overtime at time and a half. So we need to calculate how much money she makes. So 38 hours at $17.45 means we multiply, plus our 4 hours at overtime, time and a half. So that's times 1.5. So our wage is 38 times 17.45. And then we add on the overtime. So it was 4 hours at time and a half for what her hourly rate is. And if we put all that together, we get $767.80. Our second example, Josh works at a local restaurant, and this week he worked Wednesday from 4 till 9 and Friday, which was a public holiday, from 10 till 4. So 4 till 9, Friday was 10 till 4, a public holiday. His hourly rate is $10.50 between 9 and 7, and he gets time and a half between 7 and 11 and double time on public holidays. So if we think about this here, 4 till 9 p.m., that is 5 hours. However, he only gets paid his hourly rate until 7 p.m. After 7 p.m., he gets time and a half. So this is actually 3 hours plus 2 hours, which is at time and a half. So 2 lots of 1.5. And then on our public holiday, he's got 6 hours of work. So if we were to calculate the wage, we've got our 3 hours at our normal rate of pay, $18.50. We've then got 2 hours at time and a half times our hourly rate of pay. And then we've got our 6 hours at double time of our standard rate of pay. So if we just do each little bit and add them all together, we end up with, for 2 days, he gets $333. And our last example is that Sally is a teacher and earns a salary of $78,000 to the nearest cent. How much is she paid? So if it's monthly, we know there are 12 months in a year. So it would be 78,000 divided by 12. That means she would get roughly, to the nearest cent, $6,500. We know fortnightly is 26. So same thing, 78,000 divided by 26. That's going to tell us that she gets about $3,000 per fortnight. So we can see that that isn't just half. Okay, we get a little bit different because we know that there are not always 4 weeks in a month.